Well, hey there. I am so excited to be here today to have a conversation with Amylee. She has been through the top program. And anytime I have students that are, excited and interested in sharing their experiences, I love to bring them on here because I can talk all day long and say why I think the program is great. But it's a lot more interesting when people can get real live experiences from students like you. So thank you for being here, Amylee. I really appreciate it. I thought we could just kick things off and you could tell people who you are, where you live, kind of a little background, and then what was it that actually prompted you to join the top program?
Yeah, sure. So my name's Amylee, and I have a blog called The Productive Mama. But a year ago, I very unexpectedly began teaching part-time in the classroom. So it wasn't
God
something I was
bless you.
on. It just kind of fell into my life, and the timing was right. I have three kids. Two are launched college, grad school, and one is still in high school, but has her license. So that comes with a lot of more independence.
Probably
So
and some fear.
it's a lot of fear, but she is my third. So I've
Been
gone
through
through that
this. All right.
process. Yeah, a little bit, but yes, a lot of fear. My life really shifted and I had a big reorientation. Um, so I've always worked at home part-time in some capacity, but it's always been really flexible and on, my timeline. And I was really good at that. Like I'm fairly disciplined. I could structure things around what I wanted to, but now I had to be teaching at a specific time every day out. And then also just like I had to be dressed and and
Wow.
made up and whatever. And so that was a big, big shift for me. So I just had a lot less flexibility than I was used to. And I shifted pretty well because I got hired like right before the school year started, and I'm teaching high school. So I had to do a lot of learning and reviewing of information myself to be on top of things. So the way I was spending my time was suddenly very, very different.
Mhm.
Uh, and I was treading water for much of the year. And I just said, I can't wait till summer. I'm going to, redo my classes and do this and get caught up in this. And I had actually discovered you through the One Notebook.
Yeah, the One Notebook
Yes,
Challenge.
which was great because I was already kind of doing some of that. And so some of it was like, oh yeah, okay, I am onto something. I just need to do this, or I need to just set dates to really um, go through things. So I was like, I just thought, okay, whatever you have, I'm already kind of connecting with. So then there was a special on the whole program. Um, and so I jumped on it. Well, I didn't jump. It's an investment. And
Yeah.
so yeah, anytime. And I knew it would also be an investment of my time. So the timing was good because I said, okay, I've got the summer. So I think I'm going to invest my time into seeing what I can learn here over the summer. And that way I can go into next school year feeling more in control of my schedule. So I worked through it pretty consistently. Um,
And about how
over,
long did you take to work through the program?
I feel like I got it in early June, is
Okay.
what I'm thinking. And I really just finished it fairly recently. We're at the end of July.
Yeah, so less than 2 months. And when we talk about working through the program, all of the content is pre-recorded videos. So that means you can decide how many you're consuming at any one time and pause and all of that in between. But
Yes.
it's interesting because I think it's important for, some people are like, all right, is it going to take me a year to go through it? Is it going to take me 12 hours a week? I'm like, no, no, no. And the good news is you can kind of pick out your own cadence as well for whatever
Yes.
works for
And
you.
so there was definitely ebb and flow because you don't have access to everything all at once, which was good, which part of me is like, oh, I want to learn more, but you also had bonuses. So when I was wanting more of something, I could look at some of those. But things like doing a lot of times you get these programs, I know, and and they'll say something like spend a week doing this, log this. Yeah, 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 okay.
What's
But then I was like,
next?
well, I guess I will because I can't really do anything else right now. And so some of that was eye-opening.
Mm-hmm.
So it was good that I did that. And then I did it. And I also know that I'm looking ahead, like my time audit um for the summer is going to be very different than after
Absolutely.
I start the school year. So I was like, okay, let me just get practice. This will be easier to do. So when I um get to next school year, and I do intend to get into the school year a few weeks and then do it again because I'm
Perfect.
still just kind of looking at what is my teaching schedule going to be. It's not 100% finalized from the administration. So
Yeah.
um, I feel a little bit of trepidation. I mean, there's just little things like I'm used to working in the afternoons and now I'm going to be working in the mornings.
Yeah, it's
I'm
just a
not
lot
used to
to.
that.
I always, that's why I always encourage people, like, don't make changes right at the beginning of a big schedule shift. Live in it for a week or two before you say, okay, now I'm kind of figuring that out. And just for folks that are watching this, when Amylee was sharing, I didn't get access to it all at once. So the program is laid out to help you help yourself out of overwhelm, meaning the core content kind of unlocks automatically a week at a time because there's homework at the end of every key learning point. And to your point, and I know I'm the same way, when I'm in learning mode, I just want to keep going and I'll be like, okay, I'll do the homework later. And then we don't. So this is why the program is designed in such a way to try and help you help yourself actually implement what you've learned before we move on to the next step. Now, once all the content's unlocked, it just stays unlocked forever. So you can
Right.
always go back and rewatch things. And occasionally someone will write in and just say, hey, can you please just unlock this a few days early? Of course, we're going to. But it is set up to kind of help you have the most success out of it.
Yes.
So I just kind of want to explain to people when we were talking about not everything is there at first. So what
But
would you
it's for your own
say?
good. Right.
Exactly. But I'm really trying to help you get through the program. What would you say some of your biggest wins have been through creating your systems?
I think the biggest wins so far have been just I'm an Artful Agenda person. I have used Artful Agenda for
That is always my go-to recommended true digital calendar
yes.
software. It's fantastic. So I love
And
that you
I've used it for I think 5 years.
have you. Okay, so you were in early.
Yes, I was. But I wasn't really maximizing everything you could do with it. And we
Yep.
often do that. We use what's most
Sure.
useful or we get in our routines or even ruts sometimes. So I feel like it is even more useful to me and I'm really maximizing everything. And I can't even say everything, there's probably more,
Sure.
but I have definitely upped my game as far as Artful Agenda. Um, and also just, again, the notebook, just a plain old, and that's what I have my notes in for today, a plain old notebook. And some of the little tips from that. I just feel like I am going to take this now. Um, even at work, I will
Yeah.
be, using that.
Perfect.
So those are probably my biggest wins. And in general, I just feel like your program it's solid, but it's really flexible. So you are not ever saying you have to do it this way and it's the only way.
Or you have to use this tool.
Right.
Yeah,
You have
any
to
tool you
use
want.
this tool. If you have something you already like, you're going to be able to use it with this. So I feel like that is a huge, huge advantage. And then maybe over time you are going to shift because you're going to find something.
Sure.
And you have recommendations. But yes, so that would be my biggest win so far.
Awesome. Now, I always want people to be, really honest about their experience with it. As you're thinking through, stuff maybe that you either haven't implemented or you tried and struggled with, what were some of the biggest challenges you've experienced as you're going through this program?
There is a lot. So if you aren't, I would say don't invest in it if you're not ready to really invest in it, like invest the
Okay.
time to do
This
it.
is not
And
a 30-minute easy button
yeah,
solution. It's not a hack.
um, no, no. And then, so I feel like, I am by nature kind of an organized person and a planner
Sure.
as it is. Um, So I feel like I had some of the pieces, and this was really good and just like formalizing and even unlocking in my brain. Oh, that's why I do that. Or, there is a process to that. I feel like the monthly planning, I'm still working on that. Like that is something I'm gonna have to go through. and repeat. So maybe people will find, well, that makes sense, right? Oh, okay, that just falls into place for me. And that
Yeah,
nut
and I
is
think it's interesting because with the monthly planning, that's kind of the last thing that we really develop inside the program. I always have to remind people we only plan once a month. So it could be 4 months later, and you're like, I still don't feel like I've mastered
right.
it yet. I'm like, it's because you've
Don't
only
get as
done it
much
4
practice.
times because you're only doing it once a month. But yeah, I would definitely encourage you. That's why it is broken down into those 9 steps. That then next month, it's like I wouldn't expect people to remember the whole
Right.
process. So you can go pull out that little cheat sheet and be like, okay, yeah, now let's refresh our memory on how we do monthly planning.
And also, it could be that by the time you get there, if a lot of it is new, and maybe you just kind of are a little bit overwhelmed,
Yeah,
oh, I've changed a lot, or I've done a lot, or I've learned a lot. So, your brain is like, hold on.
not
But
ready for more stuff yet.
right, yeah, which is, and I think you're right. You don't do it as much, so it doesn't become a habit
Yeah.
as quickly as the other stuff. So, but that's it. And you have, lots of other great little pieces in there um, to, I don't know, inspire you in other areas
Oh,
as
good,
well.
good. Now, for anyone that is on the fence, trying to decide is the program good or not, you've already, or good for them. You've already shared, hey, don't do this if you're not willing to invest the time. What else would you say to anyone else considering joining the program?
I don't know, that's the biggest caveat, I guess I would say. I took, well, and, I think you do the occasional challenges, I guess they would be called. That's a great way just to get a taste to see, if your style is going to work for them. And that's great because you acknowledge that it's an investment. Um, so getting a little taste beforehand, that's the way to do it, is to do one of the challenges. Um, and then I don't know, just don't get discouraged. If you have to stay on, module 2, or I forget how many or how it's divided up,
Yep.
just stay there because you can take, like you said, a year to do it if that's what you need to do.
Yeah, and we get a lot of
Don't get
people that
discouraged.
stay on module 4 for weeks until they feel really comfortable with their weekly planning to go, okay, now I'm ready to move on to the next step. But again,
Yeah.
that's why you have it forever. You're not constrained by only having access to the content for X amount of time. So it's there to refresh and go at your own pace.
And
For
I could see some people also, like I said, I was already Artful Agenda lover, but if you don't have tools that you love, I could also kind of see getting stuck there, like worried
Yeah,
about oh, if I get this, if I use Trello and then I don't like it, have I wasted, um, so just try it out. You can always change it.
absolutely. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing your experience here. And as Amylee mentioned, I always like to do some live workshops and events here and there to give you a flavor of teaching style. The easiest way to look at any of those is to go grab my app in the App Store. It's called the Pink Bee. I always have a replay of a challenge out there for you so that you can go. And I believe the One Notebook is oftentimes there in the app, which is where you found me as well. So that's another good way to kind of go check out teaching styles. So thank you for being here, and I'm excited for you in your new year.
Thank you.